Good evening, welcome to the TriathlonDan YouTube channel. Welcome to the WTRL Team Time Trial Premier League invite only race. Yeah, I don't know why I'm here either. Anyway, I'm going to try and take you behind the scenes into the team. I'm riding for team... Who am I riding for? Team Innovations I'm riding for tonight. I've never ridden with these guys before. We've got a Discord channel going off now. Team tactics and all sorts, so it's getting quite interesting. It's about 42k, couple of climbs in it, so I might get dropped on the first big climb, but I'm going to give it absolutely everything. So here you go. This is probably going to be quite a long video, so hope you're on the turbo or sitting back for a long night. Trying to give myself every opportunity to not get dropped. Fueling well. So here we go. Sorry about there being another angle of my face on the screen, but there you go. I'm going to attempt to commentate my way through this. I'm sat on the start line with my teammates. I'm in blue. Sorry. Idiot Daniel, not in the correct kit, so I'm in the blue BTF kit. So I'm just about to set off, so you can see the timer isn't going because the race starts and you have to sit and wait for your 1 minute interval to start. So we were plus 10 minutes, so the race started at 17 minutes past 6, we were at 27. So when 27 comes by, we go. Now, probably started a bit keen. I was thinking Zwift race, start flat out. I didn't need to start that flat out. As you can see, I quickly gapped the group. And the idea is that you start hard so you don't lose too much time, but you don't start too hard that you split the group up. So here I'm just trying to ease up a little bit so the group can regroup. You know, this is my first time doing this. I don't want to be the hero that goes on the front for the first 20 minutes and then gets dropped. So, Team Innovation. Now, these were second last week in this league, so pretty handy cyclists. I think one of them is an actual pro as well, so it was pretty, yeah, pretty full on.
I've seen 6, I'm at the back.
So, we're supposed to have a team of 8. One person missed the sign on, well, his Zwift crashed, so he didn't get on the...
Half hour back, 7th rider.
So he didn't get on the start, so we're down to 7. Now you can hear me now saying, right, half hour back, 7th rider, because there's only 6 of us. So the 7th person had a bit of technical issue on the start, and you can see that he's a few seconds behind us. He's like 19 seconds behind us. We're up to 50 kph. There's not really any getting back on there. He wasn't able to get on at the start, and that was it. So we're immediately down to 6 people. I mean, we're not sitting up. We need to go hard because it's a team time trial. If we'd have sat and waited 20 seconds, would we have gained another 20 seconds, that person being with us? Who knows? Now you can see we're all on the same, like, Tron. Well, most of us on Tron bikes. That's because the team chat in the day, somebody had been out and kindly tested various parts of the course, what bike setup was going to be fastest, and the Tron bike was fastest, so we're all on the Tron bikes. Now some of the tactics as well. So I had a bit of a dummies briefing because I haven't done this before. Yes, I've done Zwift racing, but I haven't done a team time trial. The idea is that you're trying to, similar to on the road time trial, you're trying to go as fast as you can without dropping anybody. And this course was mainly flat, but there were 2 little climbs on it. Well, one medium-sized climb. One which was the volcano climb, which is about 22k in or 24k in, which was a 5 or 6 minute climb, so it's a decent climb. And then one which was a shorter kick on the way back. So the briefing was, if you're in 2nd or 3rd wheel, you don't press on and take the front there. You drop to the back, and then when you take your turn, you press on from the back and go to the front. So all to do with Zwift dynamics. So in like a coughing. On a road team time trial, you'd peel off from the front and the person at the second would try and keep the same speed. It doesn't work like that on Zwift, because if you're on the front and you ease up, the person behind you gets what's called sticky draft, so you only get stuck behind someone, you can't quite get by. Basically it slows the group down. So the briefing was, if you're on the front, you've just got to go hard and wait for somebody to come past you. The briefing also was to go at between 5.5 and 6.5 watts per kilo, which was pretty full on, which I'm managing here, but it's early days, isn't it? There's a lot of red already. It's hard to tell if you're stretching the group out or not. You see there's a little gap opening, but nothing really major. I hadn't ridden with these guys at all, so I didn't know if they were likely to drop off or if they're likely to drop me. I don't know. So we've got other teams on the course as well, you can see. So there's a team in front of us that's like 1.5 minutes in front. We're starting on minute intervals, so you're sort of keeping half an eye on that. And when you get to climb, it'll say you're a lot closer. When you're on descent, it'll say you're a lot further. So it's not really too easy to follow. So here, I'm just trying to settle into the rhythm, looking at my power. It's been a hard start. My threshold is about 375-ish. So I'm just trying to try and recover, but when you're only sort of 15 to 20 watts under threshold, that's a hard sweet spot effort. You're not really recovering much. My max heart rate is 170, but I'm pretty tired this week. I've had a pretty decent training week, so my max was only in this race was only about 165, I believe. So here, just trying to settle in, not going too hard, but also my first time with this group, so I wanted to be useful, and I was also thinking if I'm going to get dropped on this big climb, I might as well put some turns in before we get there, and at least have been of use before that. They were talking about on the climb, it's more beneficial to stay together because it's not too steep, it's about 3%, so you're going to go quicker if you're drafting. Then also on the descent and the flat afterwards, you're going to be faster if you're a bigger group. However, if there's one person like dropped far off the back, it's not really worth waiting for that one person. And I was thinking I might be that one person being the heaviest person in the group. As you see here, I'm feeling okay. It's hard, but you know, we're only sort of 4 or 5 minutes in. It was 40 something K long, so I was expecting it to be nearly an hour, which is a lot longer than a normal Zwift race. I do normally the 20 minutes to half an hour. You can pretty much do all the damage you want to yourself in that time, whereas when you're doing it for an hour, you've got to think a bit more about pacing. Easier said than done, granted. I mean, I think the British Triathlon jersey looks good there. What do you reckon? Got to be a bit, got to represent the brand, haven't I? So all these guys are Brits, I believe, other than one guy who lives in Australia. So it was 5:30 AM local time for him, and he's the pro. So we're motoring here, you know, nearly 50 kilometres an hour. That's a decent pace. There's not really a science in, right, one person takes a turn, then the next person takes a turn. A lot of it's to do with who's feeling good. So if you're feeling good, pull through and take a turn. Because you can't do positioning. Sometimes your avatar will be left or right. You're just pedaling, so it's just pot luck sometimes. I think here I was thinking, I hope this settles down a bit shortly because this is going to be a long old day. So 420 to 450 watts is pretty much nearly 5-minute power for me. So I know that when I'm putting out that sort of power, there's not an uncorked reserve. I've got, that's a limited time. So yeah, I'm trying to do a turn on the front, but when the guys are coming around you, you think, well, I'm not going hard enough, so you push on a bit harder, and I'm pushing like 500 watts. It's not sustainable. Get a bit more drilled now, a bit more in a line. Feels like a bit more organised. Still early days though, isn't it? Just under 7 minutes in. No snot rockets in the garage, please. Use the towel provided. There we go, pulling through from the turn. So that was a bit of an accidental turn. Sometimes you roll through in the draft and end up on the front. But what they're saying is if you end up on the front, you've got to go hard. Otherwise you just slow the group down so much and just wait for something to come around you. You can't get...
Thought you'd gone then.
There we go, so that's me. So we're also on Discord, so like an app on your phone, so we're chatting to each other. Obviously there's not much chat, and I was doing a lot more listening than I was talking because it's all new to me. Essentially the guys are saying, press on, good work, keep working, or ease off here, or little things like that. But it's just really good to have that little bit of communication between the team, just so you know who's feeling good and who isn't. Also, I couldn't recognise the voices or anything, so somebody's saying, I'm dropping off the back. I don't know who it is without looking at the, looking at the screen and seeing who's behind me. Thirsty work is commentating, Mark. So here you're sat mid-bunch. Now, even if you're not doing a turn on the front, or you're not going to do a pull at all, you're still faster as a group the bigger the group is. So it's still worthwhile having people in the team. So how I got in this race was friend, training partner, more importantly subscriber, Matt Silk, races for this team in a different team. Noticed that there was a spot in this one, and they was looking for anybody to fill it basically. So I had to like give them my Zwift power link, and they obviously like looked at me and whatever, and then got in. So big shout out to Max. Without him, I wouldn't have had this opportunity. This is this was streamed on Zwift Community Live, and whilst the team didn't get major coverage because we didn't win, it's still awesome. I've seen some screenshots of like, my little avatar on screen, and it might sound silly, but that's brilliant. And I'm also thinking of that whilst I'm racing, because you're thinking, if the commentators like got them on your team and they're talking about you, and I was thinking, oh, I'm also in a different colour jersey to everybody else, so they might actually look at me, and I'm getting dropped. I never live it down. I get so much stick. So nearly 10 minutes in now. So I've got that big fan in front of me, if you can see it, and I've got it blasted, but I'm still sweating like mad. Got my aero jersey on from Maximum Gains. So accidentally on the front again there. So I've got to just dig in. Sort of didn't realise. Dig in and press on straight up to sort of 480 watts. But then you don't want to surge. See, then that's stretched the group out a little bit. You want to be smooth, so that people behind you can actually recover and not have to put in little digs to keep on. There we go, back on the back. Try and recover a bit. I'm still doing 390 watts though, so it's not like you can just sit on and take it easy. My heart rate's quite low, isn't it? 148. I think I was a little bit tired coming into it. Yeah, this is where having a team of 8 would be a lot better. We're obviously down to a team of 6 now, so you're taking more pulls, perhaps you're pulling for longer. We've got less aero draft because there's less people. Now 8 and a bit K. There was a little rise at 10k, not big enough to split the group, but it did make us work, so we'll come to that in a second. Yeah, now we're just thinking, this is hard. I'm looking down at that graph at the bottom, there's a lot of orange and red on there, not an awful lot of green. So red is over threshold, orange is you're pretty close to threshold, like sweet spot, and green is tempo. So green really isn't even easy. When it goes blue, that's like endurance, and grey is like zone 1. There's not been any of that yet, has there? I don't remember there being much chatter at this point on the Discord app. I think people were just getting into the swing of things. I think there was a couple of comments like, save yourself for the second half, it's going to be tough, don't go too hard too early, all that sort of thing. It's easier said than done, isn't it? I feel like I've got to like prove my worth, like show that I'm there for a reason, as I'm sure everybody else is as well. Why does so much snot come out of me when I'm training on the bike? It's not even cold. So you look on the right hand side, the team's behind us and in front of us. The team behind is 1 minute and 10, so they started at a minute interval, so in theory you've put 10 seconds into them. I think they did actually go on to win it, WTRL, but... So there I'm sort of like on the front, but not on the front, so I'm still putting out on the front numbers, and we were sort of next to each other, but what do you do? Like if I ease off and he eases off, then...
It's only a little rise.
So I think they said something like press on up this climb, and I said it's only a little rise, but I think it's about 800 metres. So it's 3% though, so it's quite a 2%. So here we're all putting out more power, because in a time trial, similar to on the road, you'll be faster by going slower for the least amount of time. So when you come to a climb, press on, keep average speed high, you can then recover on the downhill and flat and not lose as much pace there. So that's what we're doing. So we're sort of knocking on the door of 400 watts. And these guys mostly were lighter than me, so I think they were putting out less absolute power, but probably similar watts per kilo. And we'll see that on the next climb a bit more. The diet has started, don't worry. So that's it, that's the top of the climb. But then another tip they said to us was, when you get to the top of a climb, in a race you might be able to just ease off and stay in the group. You've got to press on over the top to build that speed up as fast as you can. If you spend 30 seconds just descending and then getting back up to 50 kilometers an hour, whatever your target speed is, if you can press on for another 10 seconds or so in half that time, you're going to be a fair bit quicker. So you had to be careful not to get dropped going over the top of a climb because people were also pressing on there. We were also talking a bit about how to descend faster. Now, this is gameplay, but to descend as a group faster, people from the back should do micro bursts. So put in maybe like 3 to 5 second digs. So you're talking like 700-800 watts. Just a little spike. Just take you to the front and just act like a little slingshot. Then you come back to the group and then somebody else does it. And that is the theory. We didn't really do too much of it because, you know, you just flogged yourself up a hill to get up it and stay with the group. The last thing you want to do is start putting in big like sprint efforts on the descent. But if everybody did one, then yes, you'd probably descend faster. And that's where like the game knowledge comes into it, isn't it? So we're now on the flat, so just getting back in a routine. I was feeling okay here. So nutrition before the ride. I think I had 4 cliff blocks and a gel before we started. Then I think I have a gel at some point during it. And I don't know if I actually needed it, but it was more like a nervous thing. I was thinking, I've gone hard. I don't want to blow up. I'm just going to have a gel just in case. Why not, hey? So here I'm actually getting a little bit of recovery. So, you know, low 300s is a good like 40 watts below threshold. It's probably the lowest it's going to get for a little while. I feel like I'm actually getting my breathing down a little bit. Being able to think a bit straighter. But before you know it, like there, maybe I should have pushed through and gone to the front and put a little turn in, but you're just thinking, I think at this point I was thinking, oh my god, I've got 3 more of the 15-minute blocks to do. I'm not sure if I can do 3 more of those. Here we go, so come through on the front again, so put a little turn in. Again, you're talking 5-minute PB power. There's only so many times you can tap into that little reserve. So I say, no, if you're doing 5-minute power, but you only do it for 30 seconds, well that's fine, but you can't do 20, 30 seconds. Can you do 20? Whatever. You can't do loads and loads of 30-second efforts. There's still only going to be so many you can do. Under the sea. There we go, it was just gel time. Go on. 17 minutes in. What a hero. I think I was sort of thinking, well, I know gels probably take 15, 20 minutes sometimes to like really kick in, so if I'm going to have one, I might as well have it at this point so that with 40, 45 minutes in, those sugars and those carbs should be hitting my system. In reality, I probably didn't need it. I'd had a good meal before. So here we go, there's a nice little rise out of the tunnel. So we're putting a dig in, but in a race, you'd like that would be flat out to break it up. The point isn't to break it up; it's to go hard without doing too much damage to each other. You're not trying to drop anybody. You're trying to stay as a group. If 2 people go off the front and go up 2 seconds faster, they're only going to have to wait for those behind them. And if they'd have gone up with them, they might have gone up a little bit quicker anyway. So I'm back up now to like nearly peak heart rate. I feel it there, but now I'm thinking, but I'm on the front now, so I can't ease up for the reasons I've already said. So I've got to press on. Hence why I'm just going to sit on. What's that? 5.5 watts per kilo. You're just like begging somebody to come round you. Even when they come round you, if you ease off straight away, you'll slow them up. So wait till they go past and then ease up, like that. Say ease up, you still can't sit up because you're going to get spat straight out of the back. So still doing like nearly 400 watts. we're doing well. Still a team of 6. Still going. Sorry about that. It's a little bit more chilled now. Sort of sitting on nearly threshold. Oh, mental. So in my head I'm thinking, I know that it's only like 6 or 7k until this big climb. So I'm thinking, right, if I'm going to hang on, am I better trying to recover a bit now, so missing some turns to try and get up the climb? But then I'm thinking, if I get up the climb with the group and I've absolutely emptied myself to hang on to the group, am I even going to be any use? So then should I just put some turns in now? I don't know. So I tried to balance the two, so now I'm pulling through for a turn. With there only being a handful of you, you can't just sit on. It just doesn't work. And being in a bright blue jersey, they'll notice. I'll be in stealth mode next time. So just a little rise here, nothing too steep, but even 1% is worth pressing on just to keep that work going. No power-ups allowed on this race, so no drafting bonus, no featherweights or anything else. Cheers John O for the ride on, and my club mates. Now I'm thinking, 20 minutes in, come on, got this. I perhaps wasn't thinking exactly that at this point, but maybe a bit later. Then we go left here, then it kicks up a little bit. Yeah, so this is the... don't know what climb, it's not even a climb, I don't think, it's just a little rise. Now, you can't take your eyes off the road for a minute. It's similar to a Zwift race. If you mess around and look around, before you know it, the group could be gone. Even on the descent line, it's still worth putting some power in just to keep the group moving. It's not until you get over 60 kilometers an hour that you can stop pedaling and your avatar will like do that aero tuck, like Froome top tube style. So you've got to just keep working. And like we're against teams of professional riders. Like Rowan King had a team in, so John Moll, Dean Bibby, all of those who rode for Madison last year, strong riders. Dan Freeman was in a team as well. There was a team of triathletes, Joe Skipper, Reece Barkley. We did beat them. So, you know, there's a fair amount of hitters. From what I gather, this team is mainly amateurs. Obviously strong, but, you know, don't do it for a living.
Go on, dig in!
Alright, Rowdy. So I think there must have been somebody dropping off the back. Yes, so there, I can't see the name from here, but 3 seconds behind, somebody dropped off the back. So here the team are just saying, come on, do a sprint, then you're back on the back of the group, and then just, you know, then just sit in.
Go on, press now!
I'm saying press now.
Go on, it's coming down this rise, you'll get back on here.
So when you get to a lot of climb, obviously, you will slow down before the person behind you will. So I'm saying you'll get back on here because the gap will be closer. He only needs to put in a little dig to get back on the group, but you know what it's like trying to...
Good work.
So he's got back on, but that must have been a big effort to get back on the group. You know how hard it is. And then, you know, we're pretty much trying to trying to keep making progress. Somebody actually,
Ease back into it then.
I'm basically saying it's stretching out, you know, ease back into it so we don't then break up again as that change of pace. Somebody calculated that we lost 15 seconds in that zone through sitting up and through being a smaller group, something like that. But it's well worth waiting, because then we're, rather being a group of 5, we're a group of 6. And you've got to have 4 to finish, 4 to score. So if one person has a technology dropout, then you're down to 4. One person really struggles, you're down to 3. You've got to wait for that 4th person, so you need the numbers. As I said, even if somebody just sits in the group, you're still faster than if you're a smaller group. These rolling bits are a bit weird. I never know whether you have to press on the hills or not, or just keep an even tempo. You've got to stay tight of those little rollers, because if you're hanging off the back and a little gap opens, you soon end up off the back. Good work here. We're working well as a team. I think everybody's feeling okay, or you know, as okay as you can feel. You can tell when it stretches out a bit that perhaps people are feeling it a bit more, but I think that's better, because people are recovering, rather than when you're a bit of a bunch, there's probably 2 of the 6 going hard, whereas when you're in a line, there's 1 of the 6 going hard. So whether that affects your speed or not much, I don't know. So you can see the volcano in the distance now. That's the climber going up. Looks a long way up. The volcano climb starts at about 3%, I think, and then there's a flat bit halfway up for a couple hundred meters, and then it goes up again at 3%, and then there's a kick at the top. That's the steepest bit. So I had in my mind that I need to stay with the group for all of it, but I need to perhaps save a little bit for that kick at the top. And all I was thinking was, I just need to not be the last person. So I'm trying to get close to the front so that I've got a bit of sliding space, so that if I do drop 10 meters or so, I stand more chance of staying in the group. But I've got to, like, it's waste time. If I hang on for most of the way but then get dropped on the steep bit, I might as well have dropped off at the beginning. So I had to have a little bit in the tank for that, but no, it turned out okay. It took everything. It was pretty much a 5 or 6 minute effort for me to.
What sort of time are we looking at for the climb?
I'm basically thinking, oh my god, I feel terrible, or I feel a bit tired.
Okay.
So then the answer I got back was between 5.5 and 6, but he was talking about watts per kilo. I was thinking it was minutes, and I think it was similar either way. But I was thinking between 5.5 and 6 watts per kilo up a climb. Some of the group who were lighter had already said they were going to take the front of the climb, and that's the power they were going to climb at. So obviously, if we're sitting on the wheels, we get to put out less power and keep with them. But
over halfway.
Bit of motivational chat from D-Dubs over here. It's more for myself than everybody else. But yeah, if somebody's putting out 6 watts per kilo in front of you, you're not getting away with 3, are you? You're getting away with 5 or something like that, which is still a big effort. I don't think this is the start of the climb yet. I think it goes down a little bit more and then up again. Yeah, it does. It's bad, isn't it, when you get to learn Zwift routes? As if they're like your local roads.
Yeah.
So they're saying now that the climb's about to start. Basically, get ready. And it starts on that archway that you just saw a minute ago. Yeah, so we see it now. It starts on that archway. Okay, let's go. And here I'm thinking, I don't need to put a big surge in, because I'm right in the middle of the group. I'm just going to wait for it to start stretching out and then start lifting the power. It's alright saying, oh, you can do 5 minutes at whatever power, but let's not forget, I've just done nearly half an hour at, well, I don't know what power, but, you know, not easy. So the guy in the front is a gentleman who was a pro. Or is he pro? I'm thinking I don't need to be on the front, but then you've got in your mind that, well, average speed and all of that. Really, this is a good spot for me. Middle of the pack, not last wheel, so I've still got a bit of distance to drop if I need to. But I know I'm putting out 400 watts to stay with these guys. But I was thinking, I think I can do that. So I just said yes, so they're saying something like, keep the tempo going, stick at this number or something like that. A little gap's just opened there, so I've got to put a little bit of a dig in to close the gap up to 450. But I know that I can't put like a sprint dig in because that will absolutely bury me for the rest of the climb and I'll blow up. So you've got to toe the line of pressing on to close the gap and sitting at a hard tempo. It's 5% there, so it's a bit steeper. So power to weight becomes more important. When it's like 2 and 3%, I get away with just putting out big power because it doesn't matter so much about power to weight. Whereas when it gets steeper like this, that's when the lighter guys will pull away. Similar to what it is in the real world, really. At this point, I think I'm feeling quietly confident. I'm thinking, I'm still with the group. This could go all right. We have just dropped one of the guys. I think it's Will Foster. So he's got 2 or 3 seconds.
Go on, Will, keep on it.
So I'm trying to shout him on, thinking, you know, come with us. But we're doing 35 kilometres an hour. We're going to move faster as a group. So unless he's putting out more power than us, even if he is putting out, he's going to struggle to close the gap. Where he would close it is on the steeper bits, like this 4%. He stands a bit more of a chance of catching. But he was trying. He's still putting out 5.5 watts per kilo. Isn't messing around. He is on it. But unfortunately, the group is on it. So you just can't allow that gap to open. But you know, he tried his hardest. He was giving it everything. He's 5 seconds behind now. I think at this point he's dropped down to 4 watts per kilo. I think he was thinking, am I going to get back on or not?
Remember, this isn't the top.
Yeah, so I knew this was the false flag. I just want to make sure everybody else knew as well. I'm sure they did, but yeah, so that's like the false summit. You think you're there, but you're not. It rises up again. So far behind as well now. So he's now 80 seconds behind. Yeah, there's no coming back from that, is there? When it then ramps up again, and those at the front are straight back into 5.5, 6 watts per kilo. I think at this point he said something like, I'm done guys, keep working, or something like that. But you know, he put a load of good turns in on the flat before. It helps out a lot on the flat, so great. It just meant that we were a smaller group, so we're slower. I had a bit more pressure to finish because, as I said earlier, we're now down to 5. If I drop off and then one person has a mechanical or whatever, the team don't get a time. So I was thinking, God, I've just got to get over the top of this climb and then worry about the rest of it when we get to it. There's no more you can do. So now I'm last wheel, I'm 5th wheel, and I know that if that gap opens more, I'm going to be off the back and gone. So I've got to put a little bit of a dig in now. So I press on now. Yeah, up to 430, 440, 450 watts. Just because I know I've got to hang on this group light. I've got to sell my soul to hang on to the back of this group. So here, I've just come up in the middle of the group. I've not eased off because I thought, right, I need to get in 2nd or 3rd wheel so that if I do struggle again, I'm going to have a bit more sliding space. And this is, I'm absolutely on the limit here. I was about the highest my heart rate got, I think, 162. I'm pretty much treating the top of this climb like, what's Matt Waterfield for the run? Treating the top of the climb like the finish, because I can't think about the second half until I get to the second half. There's a little bit of respite here because it's only 3%, 4%. It will benefit from the draft. I knew it got steeper towards the top, so I was thinking, surely I'm near the top now. You can see in the top right, you've got the little avatar on the little hill, but it's so tiny you can't really work out where you are. Here I'm just thinking, please let this be over soon, because I'm absolutely on the limit trying to hang on to this group. I know I've still got one person behind me, but if I slowly let that wheel go in front, we both become detached, then that's not good for anybody. Because they'd either have to wait for us or we'd have to put a big dig in to try and catch up, and it's just not, it's not team time. So here we go, 8-9%, this is the tough bit. Back up over 400 watts. I can still feel this bit. So here, look, there's another team that have caught us up. We only started on minute intervals, and this is the team that actually won it. So then, similar to the real world, we've got to let them come past. But in the Zwift world, now when you're descending, it's so hard to actually break a group up. Now here, I'm putting a big dig in just so I stay with the group, because, as I said earlier, if you don't press on over the top, a gap appears and you get dropped over the top. So here, put a dig in to get back on the group. So with them there, and we then start talking like we've been caught, guys. You know, we should let them pass. So
those in yellow got set up. They've only got 2 or 3 riders.
It's right letting them pass, but there's only 2 or 3 of them. They haven't got a team of 4, so they will sit up to wait for their next person, because they can't. We're not going to get a time. So it's waste time us sitting back, letting them sit up, and then us all losing time. I thought we were better pressing on, dropping them, and yes, there are faster teams that are going to come past us, but without us losing too much time. I think there was a mini domestic a bit later on, a bit of Zwift chat, but you know, what can you do? So here we are thinking, okay, have they dropped off waiting for their 4th or 5th rider? Who knows? At this point I'm thinking, yeah, I know you said it needs to be microbursts on the descent, but I'm absolutely just trying to peel my heart rate off the ceiling. So here we go, the yellows says 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 of them come past us, you know, fair enough. Let's let them go, because they're a faster team. They took a minute out of us already, at least a minute. But then I still want to turn my legs over on the descent. I don't just want to sit there freewheeling.
It's not going to split up on a descent, is it? Should we wait till the flat and then split?
We just said we'll just sit on these down the descent, like as a group, just not put any effort in.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we'll let them put the dig in then.
Resume. Yeah, so I think somebody said one of us needs to put a dig in to break it up, and I said, yeah, I think we'll let them put it in then. You know, a bit defeatist, thinking
I quite fancy a 1 hour power PB, but I think we're going to run
they have took time out of us, so they are the stronger team. So somebody said, free wheel, guys, free wheel, don't pedal. But I always like keeping some power on, because as I said, I like to get the power PBs. But then I also think I recover better just putting out a little bit of power. So as I said, just soft tapping, just turning the legs over. It's sort of like zone 2 power, so I'm just letting the heart rate come down whilst keeping the legs going. And it's also good to keep a bit of power on. Then when we get to a little rise, I've already got a bit of momentum. I can just knock it up a gear, and I've got another 100 watts or so without having to start from scratch.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, they were saying there's only 3 of them. I said, yeah, the 4th one's just coming through. So there we go, look, so we're letting them get a big gap on the descent. Obviously we don't want to lose too much time, but we've got to give them that, because otherwise I end up just sat on my wheel the whole way, and that's not, we're team time trial, but not with another team, are we? So then we're thinking, right, they've got a big enough gap, they'll pull away from us, they're the stronger team, so we're going to get our heads down and get working. So we're now down to a team of 5, and what we got? 13k to go. I mean, there, look, the gap's massive, isn't it? It's like, well, loads of metres. We thought that that'd be it. It'd be split up. Yes, it's annoying to lose a place, but they're obviously stronger than us, so nothing you can do. I don't know what I'm doing, messing around my phone there. Concentrating the race. So here, look, but we catch them again. So without really putting too much effort, we've caught them. So
the next kick
I thought
starts
they were
at
sitting up waiting for a
34k.
teammate or something.
It doesn't get steep to the top, does it? So I don't know. Okay.
So I'm saying, next kick's 34k, it doesn't get steep to the top. And then I was corrected that it's actually steep at the bottom. Quite an important bit of information, that.
Yeah.
So here, like, we're caught with them again, but we're all putting out virtually, low power. What are we at? 3.5, 4 watts per kilo.
Looks like they're sitting up. Should we put a dig in or not?
And we're caught them up. So we're sitting up and giving them a chance to get away.
Yeah, come on, let's just give them a dig and see if we get past
So I'm saying, if they're sitting up, why don't we put a dig in and get past them, try and pull a gap, and I don't think that was a team decision. I think that was just me thinking that was a good idea, but I think most of them gave it a go. So I thought, rather than sitting behind them because they've sat up, if we can get through the group and get in front of them, well then they've got to come back past us again. Which they might be able to, but we're not just sitting behind them wasting time when it is a team time trial. I don't think yeah, there's one rider with me. I don't know if everybody came with me or not. So I'm saying I've got to
hanging on, so let them go.
And then this rider behind me then
let them go,
just
yeah.
little dig in to stay on my wheel. So it's
the kick's sitting up.
So that was the point. Like, if you guys are so then we make a decisions that let them go. As in we're having to actually like ease off to let them go. They should be able to. If they took that much time out of us, they should be powering through it and dropping us. It's like 2 or 3 times now we're giving them a fair gap. But similar to us, they've probably gone absolutely flat out on the climb. I think they say something in a minute as well in the chat. They say like innovate drop off or something like that. There we go, innovate drop off. Which we are. And then one of our team responds, I don't know how I type in as well as doing this. Yeah, we're doing under 5. We're doing under 5 watts per kilo. The whole race, the person on the front's been doing 5 to 5.5. There you go. You need to press. Basically, yeah. If you want to drop us, you've got to press on. We're not just going to sit around and noodle for you to put a gap in. We're doing a team time trial similar to you. Put the work in. And there we go. They've got a big gap now. And really, I think we hold them at about 10 seconds all the way till the end. So there's the thought, maybe if we had pressed on and attacked at the bottom of the climb, we might have got in front of them and stayed in front, but the right thing to do is let them pass. They've caught us, they are, the faster team up to that point, so. And they did go on to win it by, by a few minutes, so they were faster than us. But it's interesting that they didn't take, well, really any time out of us in the second half. They were a small team. So here I'm putting in a big dig up to 500 watts because the group split up a bit. We've got to get all together. Then you're also thinking about people behind you. You putting a big dig in, well, that's okay, but as long as they behind you can do as well. I think it's just a little rolling climb. I think it's not a big one. Yeah, so now I'm thinking, right, let's get back to drills, turns, let's get back working. Everybody's feeling it, everybody's feeling hard. We've had a decent little recovery down that climb. Yes, whilst might not be feeling fresh, it is what it is, isn't it? You've got to just dig in. We've got 9 and a bit K left. Snort. still a team of 5, but you just think, wow, what if you had 8 people here? That's, you know, that's brilliant. It would be brilliant, but yeah, you make do what you've got. Even in real-time trialing, teams lose people, not through strategy, just through people dropping off. So I don't think there's much chance of me getting up to like 450, 500 watts again. I'm just breaking 400, and that is hard. I knew that was like difficult. Really starting to bite now. It's really, you're at the point where it's not just a high intensity interval session, you're in the point where this is really digging in. Probably similar to like a 25-mile time trial. So here you're catching riders who have been dropped, so they've been dropped by their teams. As they're going past there, they're probably just riding it in, but it just shows, you know, it is full on. See that WTRL team are only 11 seconds ahead of us. Ooh, nasty little rise this, isn't it? I think on the chat we were just saying up, up, up. You know, you just gotta dig in up this steep bit. I'm pumping out nearly 500 watts. I was thinking I've got to hang on. Like, surely I've got through the tough bit. Worst case scenario, surely I can just about hang on to the group on the flat. I'm not getting dropped now after all this hard effort I've put in. So it's absolutely taking everything. But I'm just thinking I've got so far already. I can't just let it go now. So I'm last wheel here. I know that I've just got to hang on. And I'm thinking, oh, there's a little gap there. You know, if I sit up for a second or two, a small gap would open and that would be it. I'll be off. So as I go past one person, I'm still keeping the power on just to get a bit safer, get a bit closer to the front. And that's when you carry a bit of momentum through the group, you know, if you've got the legs, you can go all the way through and then take a turn on the front without really putting in too much more effort. But I was just absolutely on the limit. I think the course record before we did this was 55 minutes, something like that, 54 minutes, something like that. And I think we'd estimated that we'd be somewhere around there, or 57-ish. It's so hard to predict, isn't it? But
Come on, guys, keep working.
okay, so now I know it's like lower power, so I'm on the front again. I've got to put a little dig in. It's taking so much to. I think we're just trying to rally each other up a bit there, just to keep pressing on. But like that was it. I got to the front and I was trying to put in a dig as I had been doing before. I was struggling to get close to 400 watts. It was really hurting. It's odd because you're not really like I'm breathing hard. My heart rate's high, but it's not that that's stopping me at this point. It is that muscular fatigue. I think the short races, it's like your, I don't know, aerobic system that holds you back, isn't it? When you're absolutely blowing. But on this, it was a bit of both. But towards the end, it's just that fatigue that's built up, a lot of lactic that you're subjecting your body to. Why is it a slight rise now? Why do I have to go up a little hill? Back up to around threshold again, or over threshold. Oh, 400 watts, man, this was hurting. But again, I was just thinking, I've got to get Got to get to the front. Got to stay on this group. Just a part run to go, just over 5k to go. Trying to recover as much as I can on this little descent. Just get the heart rate down a few beats, just to give myself a little bit of breathing space. I still don't feel like I can get off the pedals. There we go, so now down to 250 watts, that's probably as easy as it gets. There we go, 200 watts, oh bliss, 200 watts. But that bridges, look, I think it flattens out there, so it's not like we've got loads of recovery. Straight back on it, straight back up to 370, 380, 400 watts. Here I think I was feeling okay, my heart rate's come down about 10 beats. I'm thinking I'm going to put a turn in here, so got up to about 450 watts, thinking yeah, this will get me on the front. It's not, is it? So then you don't want to sit next to somebody else who's also taking a turn. So then I thought, okay, sit behind them. And then when that person then looks like they're easing a bit, then press on. It's so hard to organise. If you're an actual chain gang on the road, you can actually see who's coming and people are, on your left or on your right. Here, just look, isn't it, which way the avatar goes. This bit I remember being absolutely not fun. Excuse the DIY noise in the background, but this is hard. Trying to pump out 400 watts while you're absolutely on the edge. And I was thinking, how much further we got? 3.5k. I was thinking, surely it's only a few minutes. But because you can't really compute it in your head, can you? Like, you lose all the ability to think. I mean, I imagine everybody's in the same boat here. You're absolutely on the limit. Just dying for it to end. We've got 3k left. Less than 3k. So you want to finish with an empty tank, but you don't want to empty your tank too early and not finish with the group. Because say two of us got dropped to, a k to go, we dropped 20 seconds. Well, all those efforts before are a little bit wasted. So you're trying to toe the line of being useful, but then making sure you're useful later on. $40k done, 2.5k to go. The end's in sight. I think I did a race on this course a couple of weeks ago, so I know with the finish. It still doesn't make it come any faster. It's looking like at this point we're going to finish as a group, save for any mechanicals or technical issues. We're going to finish it, we're on for a good pace. It's just now sticking together and making the most of who's got the best leg left. And I think I really struggled to get on the front of this last couple of k. I don't think I actually did. Not for the want of trying, but some super strong riders in the group. Yeah, so 1.5k to go. I mean, this I was just thinking this is absolutely hell. It's hands down the hardest thing I've done indoors on the bike ever. Hardest race ever. Both numbers wise and just the feeling, it was just insane. Because I think the old course record was 55 minutes something, so I'm thinking, well, we might just be outside that, but it's hard to really tell when you're trying to think what speed you're doing and how far left. You just can't. Well, I can't think about it. So we've got about a kilometre to go. Thinking, right, 400 odd watts. I can hold that for the next kilometre or so. If it puts me on the front, then great. If it keeps me in the bunch that's moving faster, then also great. So here I think I'm on the front. Come on, put a dig in. And this is it. I'm absolutely giving it everything. And I just cannot like break threshold. Oh, there's a 400 watts ish or so there. But it's just so hard. So then I've got 700 metres. It's just, oh. We've got 500 metres to go. I think this is it. Obviously, there's no point doing like a sprint finish because you're trying to finish as a group in the fastest time you can. But this is it. This is where. This is the end. So you've got to give everything. I mean, you've got to finish and nothing left in the tank. I think I also wanted to try and be one of the 4, so 4 to count. Whether it matters or not, I don't know. But I just wanted to be like in that front of the bunch. So I was trying to give everything just to. The last little bit to the team, so it looks like 440 watts, 100 metres to go. This is it. This is absolutely everything.
Oh man.
500 watts to finish. Good lad. There we go. Yeah, oh man, indeed. Hard. Well, I never really know what to do myself at the finish. Just stand up, sit down, stop pedalling, pedal. Who knows? Yeah, in a nutshell, that is Team Time Trial on Zwift. Hopefully I'll get the opportunity to do it again in future. Absolutely loved it. Love racing for Team Innovations. Seen a great bunch of lads. We're also saying well done to each other when we can breathe. But that was incredible. I'd never done one before, and I'll definitely do one again. Whether I get another chance in this team at this level or not, I don't know. But you know, whatever the level I'm keen. So yeah, let me know. Alright, hope you enjoyed that. I think post race Daniel comes in a second, but this is commentary Daniel signing out. See you soon. Oh man, that was hard. I'll put the data on screen now for you. 56 minutes 11 seconds, 94 TSS. That's probably as hard as you can go. If you go flat out at threshold for an hour, it's 100 TSS, so that's pretty hard. Normalised power 378 watts with an average power 368. Average heart rate 154. Wow, that was hard. So after all that graft, all that pedalling, I forgot to do an outro. Must have been feeling a bit unwell. So if you've made it this far, chapeau. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already, click that subscribe button down below. And hopefully I'll see you doing this sort of thing very soon.